Space Imperies Part 6 The Love of Amanda, Altered Dude Tron, Clocktime. If there's any resemblance to reality, it's a coincidence. Pure coincidence. Realistic anticipation. Original fiction. Exactly, cried Amanda, interrupting my thoughts and pulling me out of my trance. If we get to the mines, we can infiltrate security systems before they realize we're there. We need that tool to dismantle control. The air was cold and full of tension as the reality of our mission was settling in my mind. What began as a simple conversation between friends, continued with clothes and without clothing, and the job was replaced by a honeymoon trip, and confirmation of a classic secret maneuver of the powers behind power. And it had become for us an intrigue for freedom. Amanda was more than a companion, she had become my ally in this struggle. Are you ready for this? I asked, with a slightly trembling voice. Adrenaline started bubbling through my veins. Always, replied he, with an unbreakable confidence in his trapped gaze that descended and climbed over my surface. His determination was contagious, and he was beginning to give me strength. Nevertheless, the doubt wrapped up in my mind. What if we fail? What if Neurotech was watching us every step? The surface of Mars was dazzling under the glow of its distant sun. We moved fast and quietly, using the steep terrain as our ally. The Olympus Mons mines were a maze of tunnels, and we had thought about the possibilities that inside they could have installed server systems to manage neurocontrol networks. With every step, excitement and fear collided in my chest. I knew that what we were about to do was dangerous, but at the same time essential. We had to protect freedom from Neurotech's clutches. We arrived at the entrance of one of the mines and behind some rocks. Olympus Mons seemed, from so close, as if it were a wall going from horizon to horizon and high to the sky. I looked at Amanda and saw the flash of determination in her eyes. She was the spark I needed. Let's go, I said whispering. For freedom. With that, we jumped into the entrance, where the cold metal of the doors opened slowly. The shadows widened around us, there was no turn back. The spark of hope illuminated our way. This feels like the beginning of something big, I whispered as we both entered. Every step resounded in the tunnels, like a beating that accelerated, preparing us for the confrontation that awaited us. No control can stop what is in our hearts, replied Amanda, as we began to descend into the innermost parts of the mine, into the heart. As we descended through the dark tunnels, the temperature dropped and the air became more dense. The rock walls reflected our widened shadows, creating an almost surreal atmosphere. Amanda and I proceeded with caution, attentive to any sign of danger. This is where it becomes interesting, said Amanda, with a smile that could hardly be seen in the dark. According to the plans on the viewer, there's a server chamber about 500 meters from here. I sat, adjusting selectors on my implants to improve night vision. The augmented reality interface projected a map into my field of vision, guiding us through the labyrinth of tunnels. Suddenly, a metal noise resounded in the distance. We stopped dry, holding our breath. Amanda raised a hand, telling me to wait. It activated a small reconnaissance drone that flew out quietly like a toy bug, transmitting real-time images to our interfaces. There are Neurotech surveillance drone systems patrolling, Amanda whispered. We'll have to be very careful. We move in secrecy, avoiding patrol and using digital coverings to avoid detection systems. Each step brought us closer to our goal, but it also increased the risk of being discovered. Bingo, I told Amanda, and I pointed out a door that said tools. We entered and now I was the kid in a toy store. There were keys and cutting tool of almost all kinds. They weren't the most modern, but they would be effective. I loaded a couple of magnetic compression keys, half a dozen batteries and we took 2 manual holes carbon laser. Be careful what you desire, adventurer. It can be fulfilled. Finally, we reached the entrance of a subsidiary chamber of a server station. The metal doors were guarded by armed drones. Amanda and I exchanged a look, knowing that this was the decisive moment. Are you ready? I asked, my voice just a whispering. Always, replied Amanda, with that spark of determination in her eyes. With a fast and coordinated movement, we activate the tools towards the drones, cooking their processors and neutralizing them before they can react. The doors opened with a scream, revealing the central and a Neurotech control server. The tension in the air was palpable as we entered the chamber. The Neurotech control server was standing in front of us, an imposing structure full of cables and flashing lights, but the main processor was hidden in a small console. We knew that was the heart of the neurocontrol operation. Amanda approached the control panel, her fingers flying over the holographic keyboards. Augmented reality interfaces projected real-time data, showing us security systems and access routes. "We must disable the defenses first," said Amanda, concentrated. "Otherwise, we will not be able to access the data." I sat down and started working on another terminal, using my skills to disable security systems. Every second the risk of being discovered increased. Eventually, Amanda managed to disable the defenses and accessed the main server. A data cascade started flowing through our interfaces, revealing crucial information about Neurotech's plans. "Here it is," said Amanda, pointing to a number of encrypted files. "These are the data we need." We started downloading the files, knowing that every second was vital. Suddenly, an alarm began to sound, and the lights of the camera turned red. "How long will it take for the discharge to be completed?" I asked, trying to remain calm despite the adrenaline running through my veins. "It's almost." "Have a moment," said Amanda, with her eyes fixed on her device. "I need to stabilize the connection." "Don't take my eyes off." There we were, about to get the information that could change the course of everything, but also in an increasingly dangerous situation. Every second that passed I felt that the burden of responsibility was getting heavier on my shoulders. "Amanda, hurry up," I urged. She looked back with her eyes very open. "There's 30% of the discharge left. There is no time. We have to leave now. Close the entrance and come here." With a quick decision, Amanda pressed a button that would secure her terminal, leaving some layers of data half downloading, but that was a price we were willing to pay for our security. "We have been discovered," I said, with my heart beating strongly. I checked the battery level of the laser tool. "We have to get out of here, fast." Amanda shut up and finished the discharge. With the files secured, we were getting ready to leave. We knew that the information we had obtained was crucial to stopping Neurotech, but we also knew that our mission was far from over. We left the tunnel just as a group of guards passed our original route. With the data at our disposal, we are headed for the exit, ready to face any obstacle that may come in our way. The struggle for freedom was just beginning, and we were prepared to risk everything. As we ran through the tunnels of the mine, the sound of our steps resonated in the darkness, amplified by the urgency of our situation. The alarms continued to sound, a constant reminder that time was not on our side and that security drones were already in motion. "Here," called Amanda, pointing to a side door leading to a labyrinth of maintenance. We knew it was a risk, but the intermittent lights and the metal crushing of the doors opening behind us made it clear that we had to change course. We entered the tunnel, which was dark and cold. The walls were covered with worn paint, and the air smelled of oil and metal. As we advanced, every shadow seemed to move. Every sound resonated as a warning, but there was no turn back. Suddenly, I heard a sound that froze my blood. Heavy steps. They were approaching. "Here, please, please," I murmured as I led Amanda through a darker corridor, through pipes and air conduits. The tunnel system was a maze, and as we ran, I kept my sight fixed on the next turn. We had to take advantage of our knowledge downloaded with maps of the place. If we could get to the loading area, we could find a way out. As we went deeper into the chaos, the noise of drones and the beating of nearby steps behind us were constant. I stopped behind a door, I closed it, and I used the drilling laser to burn the chip of the lock and melt the sideways in half. I quickly turned and I continued walking. But with every step we took, the possibility of a future without mental control, without manipulation, came closer. With the palpitant beating of hope and fear, we continue to troll in the mild Martian gravity through the dark maze of a secondary well of the Olympus Mons mines, ready to fight to the end for freedom and truth. Klaus was at the exit as waiting for us with an expression of good humor. Without stopping and without thinking twice I lifted the tool and blocked the entrance. Klaus took his smoking hands to his face, having dropped something that sparkled on the ground. Amanda ran even faster and we passed by him like an exhalation. I turned around and shot him in the ass.